So this video is a more advanced program with all of the concepts that we've learnt so far. Variables, user input, concatenation, and feeding back to the user different outputs depending on the inputs. It's not my intention to teach you how to make this program. I would just want to see if you can follow the logic based on what you've learnt so that you can get some ideas on some more advanced programs that are going to be age appropriate for your students. So I've written this program just to show some regret that I didn't buy Bitcoin when I first heard about it. So I've got this chart and it shows a tracking here of the cost of Bitcoin at the crazy peak, and now it's down to 5,000. And it starts here at $450 in 2015. However, my regret is that my friend Aaron said to me in about 2010, hey, here's this new thing, Bitcoin. We should buy some. It's only 8 cents. Let's just say I put $100 on it back there. Let's track through the program and see what would have happened. So I would have bought $100 because I'm fairly risk adverse. And it was 8 cents for getting brokerage. So I would have had 1,250 Bitcoins. So what was it worth when I sold it? Well, just for the sake of a good story, let's just say somehow I knew when the top was. Well, 25,000. Let's say it's worth 25 because we all know when the top of the market is. So I can't even fathom how much that is. So that's the program run. Now it could have gone the other way, of course. So let's run it again. And let's say we bought it at the peak. So let's say I put $25,000 on the line. It was worth 25,000. So I've got one Bitcoin and I had to sell it now for 5,000. And I would have lost $20,000. So let's have a look at the logic here. Now this looks like a lot. All this is over here is declaring the variables and setting them to 0 so that when I click on the green flag, I haven't got the values from last time. So they're all empty. So let's break this apart and look at the logic. So let's just start here. So how many dollars worth of Bitcoin did you buy? So we've got this variable called $start, which is the user input, and let's say 100. So that's stored in that variable. The next part says, let's just run through it. So $100 worth, and what was it worth? So for my story, I'm going to say 0.8. And we can see here we have this variable called how many Bitcoins, which is simply how many dollars divided by the cost of Bitcoin. And then you can just respond with the concatenation of the text and the value of that variable. Okay, then there's a little pause in the program for the next part. So let's just run this again. $100 worth, 0.08. So would have had 1250, and what was it worth when I sold? So it could be varying amounts. It could be the $500 back in 2015. So we've got the user input of 500, and then we've got this concatenation here to tell the user how much did they have at this point, and at the end we're saying you would have had $625,000. And then the last part is just working out the profit or loss. So we've got this profit or loss variable, and it's simply the dollars finish deducted from the dollars at the start. So if profit or loss is bigger than 0, well then you made money. If it's less otherwise, well then you lost money. So we haven't got into branching a lot yet. Branching is coming up. However, I'm sure you can follow this, that if the money at the end is more than 0, then run this block of code. Otherwise, if the money at the end is less than 0, you run this block of code. Okay, so let's run it again. So let's say I had $5,000 worth. They were worth about $5,000, and let's just say now, again, it's worth $5,000. So again, this video wasn't designed to teach you how to make this program. I'm just giving you the mindset of all this work we're doing with concatenating and variables and having to convert integers and words, not so much in Scratch, but if we made this in Python, we would have to do that. And I just wanted to give you a more advanced application that we can do with these ideas so that you can think about something that you can make. Make it in Scratch first, by all means, and then try and make it in Python and make it in JavaScript. And obviously, the smaller the better to start with, but the more that you can practice as a teacher, the better outcome for your students, or when you have to debug something for your students, the more experience you have, the easier you can find that error.